Hello and welcome back to episode 24 of my Realignment 2028 series. This is the 2032 off season, and in case you missed the last episode, now's your chance to click away. But we ended up going to the World Series in the last playoffs and losing to the Dodgers in 7 games. Little bit disappointing, but still a really really good season overall. We finished 97 and 65 in the regular season, same record as the Dodgers, and we had some shenanigans with the Arizona Fall League in Game 4, and I don't want to say that was the entire difference in the series, but it definitely didn't help when you have two teams that on paper appear to be as evenly matched as our teams were. So in the off season, we're just looking to, ideally keep the same pace more than anything else. There's not really a whole lot we can do to get better necessarily. Let's just go down my checklist here. My international free agency, definitely want to touch on that. We've got in international free agency, I chose these guys. It's a mix of the top prospects that interest me and then a few guys that look to be good bargains. Victor Rodriguez is one, 80 power potential, low current contact, but like his defense is also really good for being a prospect. Like he could play shortstop. And shortstop with that bat would be pretty like all-star caliber player. Daniel Cuevas looks really good as well. He's already got a 30 current contact rating. Everything looks really good, honestly, except for his power, and his defense could use a little work too, but no prospect is going to be perfect. But if we can get his power up, he should be a great player as well. Let's click through here. Deathridge was interesting as well. Very high outfield potential to go along with some good potential batting ratings. Vargas looks like a good bargain for just 200K demand. Justo Collado doesn't look too much worse than the top prospects that are out there, and again about half the price. And then Solorzano, Traversari, both of these guys, super cheap. Same with Nelson Lara, and then Ricky Padron. Just another good-looking prospect. So some interesting guys in here. We'll have to see how it kind of develops here. I'll probably look to sign one of these top guys and then a bunch of guys for cheap. That's going to be my general strategy, I think, going into this international free agency. When it comes to waiving people, right now we've got these 6 guys on waivers. There's going to be some other guys that will be free agents next year, but I haven't bothered to waive them yet. Guys like, Sandy Alcantara is a potential one. We'll get into that in a second. I might have gone ahead and waived most of the guys that I don't want to keep. But Robbie Snelling, no one's going to claim him. He's still got several years left on his deal. If they do, oh well, I'm not going to be too broken up about it. Tobias was a solid long reliever, but Derek Turner's depth more than anything. He did okay at AAA last year. Gamble and Sharpton, I think, have a chance to be claimed. Sharpton, a former first-round pick who just hasn't really taken the next step, and he's 25 already. He projects to be a decent player, and that's really all he's shown so far. Gamble can play a lot of different positions and has filled in decently well. across 3 seasons for us, but yeah, I don't, see the need to have him take up a roster slot currently. And Enrique Badfield Jr. is mainly just outfield depth. He did okay in the minors last year at age 30. So, um, anyone on the waiver wire that we are interested in? I did put in 2 claims, one for Travis Foster, who, you know, is 26, so likely not to develop to his full potential, but he still looks interesting and put up decent numbers at AAA, so we'll see what he can do here. It's a waiver claim, why not? And then Francisco de la Cruz, he's only 23. If we can pass him through waivers and stash him in the minor leagues, that would be great. So, yeah. So I guess I went through both waiver people and waiver claims. Personnel, not much to note. Everyone I wanted to re-sign was re-signed in the offseason, except for my assistant GM. Going to sign, Randy Elliott. Really doesn't matter at all. I just chose a guy that looked decent and didn't cost too much money. That's basically all I look for with an assistant GM because, well, if you're GM, really all they are there for is to tell you whether they think a trade is good or not. And I can kind of make that evaluation on my own. So anyway, roster eval. I mean, we're going to look to bring back most of the same roster from last year, right? Like, not a ton of guys are free agents. Still some interesting decisions to be had in here, though. So, for arbitration eligible players, I offered contracts on Bellows, Sieber, Kinney. Gavin Jones, I think with the season he had, has earned an extension from me. Like, he has demonstrated, he had the season where he's hurt for most of the year in 2031, but then in 2030 and 2032, he was an elite pitcher in the league. So, so I went ahead and offered him a 5-year deal that gets through the rest of his arbitration. Not outrageous numbers. It's an average of about like 22. I think 22.7 was the average in there. And he wanted about 35 million per year in free agency. So we get a little bit of a bargain there spread out across the length of the contract, buy out 2 free agent years along with the rest of his arbitration, which he was set to make like 7 million in arbitration anyway this year. So, a bit of a jump for what it will cost us this year, but I think good long-term deal for our ace, Gavin Jones. Guys that I'm unsure on currently. Jackson Ferris, he put up good numbers as a reliever and pitched in 82 games, but at 6.5 million arbitration, we were getting to the edge of like what I would consider reasonable for like a reliever slash back end starter type. I think I'll lean towards keeping him, but I'm not sure. Logan Redeman is a guy that we grabbed off waivers actually during the playoffs. I mean, he's put up solid numbers throughout his entire tenure with Washington. He's due $2 million in arbitration. We'll probably look to keep him. Cutter Coffee and Connor Griffin are 2 that I'm really unsure about. Cutter Coffee only put up 1 WAR this season. I think he maybe dealt with a little bit of injuries. Yeah, he missed the first few weeks of the season, but his numbers definitely down a bit from last year. We've got Beatty who can play third. We've got Grant coming up who could potentially play third. It might be, worth it to just try and trade Coffee for prospects maybe. I'll shop him around here in a little bit and see if there's interesting offers. It's kind of sad because he's one of our OGs, one of our guys that we got in the expansion draft way back in 2027, 2028. But yeah, I don't know if I want to pay him $5 million to basically be a uh, backup third baseman for us. And then Connor Griffin is kind of projecting to be a quad A player who, granted, can play a variety of positions and has done well in limited time. Well enough, I'd say. Positive OPS plus. He looks like a very solid backup, and that's probably worth 2.4 million. But again, I'm not sure. I'm looking to cut costs wherever possible. With the Jones extension and with the upcoming PCA extension that I would like to do after his monster season, we are going to be very tight on cash. Getting into the budget a little bit. If we look at accounting, we actually lost money last year despite a deep playoff run and $28 million in playoff revenue. So costs have to go down a little bit, unfortunately, and I don't see an easy way to do that while also extending these guys beyond making some hard cuts. Nick Kurtz is one where I would love to get rid of his salary, but we're due $8 million for him this year. Jones is going to jump up to about 25 million, so that's going to take up even more salary this year. And so, some of these guys who are kind of in between, like Ferris and Coffee, we might have to make difficult decisions on, or even Redeman. I don't know. Roman Anthony, who was, decent but not amazing when we traded for him. I don't know. That also unfortunately means that Sandy Alcantara likely not coming back next year. He wants something like 12 million, 14 million per year to stay, and I can't justify giving him that when we have decent depth at our starting pitching. Brian Bella will not be back either. We traded for him from Pittsburgh, and he was underwhelming in his 12, 13 games with us. Mantiply was willing to come back for about $2 million. So I just signed a 1-year, $2 million deal. His numbers were good enough where I think that's fine. $2 million isn't going to make or break things either way. And then re-signed a bunch of minor league free agents. We'll have to look and see if there's guys that we want to keep around with a major league deal. There's some of the guys that we waived, we might look to keep around. Or guys like Grant Shepherdson, who's kind of in between. Guys that we maybe got off waivers. Guys like Hans Montero, who is solid depth. We'll need to see if those are guys we want to keep. DevLab, let's go through that real quick. Not anything too surprising here in the Dev Lab. DeJesus I'm still really excited about. He's only 22, and he, didn't put up amazing numbers, but he also only played about, half the season for us. And he, across a full season, I'm excited to see what he can do, especially if we can get his avoid Ks up some more. His hitting ratings already look good, and he could be even better. So this is a guy that, we drafted in the 5th round, and he's just continued to impress at every level, really. You can look at his OPS plus, literally everything over 100. Across all levels of the minor leagues and the major leagues. So, I think it's criminal that he has not ever been considered a top 100 prospect in baseball. I just think he deserves that. Strapodopoulos has been considered a top 100 prospect in baseball. He needs his control to come up, and then he should be a perfectly good starter with potential to be great. He was certainly great at the end of last season. Again, when he was not pitching in the Arizona Fall League. Eddie Aguilar, still really young, still lots of potential. Like to see him take that next step to be in the major leagues. Diego Lopez, kind of same deal. He's in AAA with a brief stint in the majors at the end of last year. He's right on the cusp. He just needs a little bit more. Justin Grant, I'd like to see a little bit more from him too. Look for a power increase here. That's the biggest area I think he needs improvement in. But again, he did well in the minors and also in limited time in the majors last year. So he will likely be a starter for us, or at the very least, a regular contributor for us in the next season. Clevenger and Swim are both kind of on the edge of not being prospects anymore. We're giving them one more dev lab session to kind of see what they can do. Pitchers can keep developing into their mid 20s, I think. So I'm fine with doing that with both of these guys who have a lot of potential still. Zimmerman, I like to put one guy on defense so I can get a later session in. Usually two, but Zimmerman was the only one I think that made sense. I might look to get his power up later as well. And then Castaneda and Feldman are two young prospects who both look good. Castaneda obviously needs more control, and Feldman obviously needs more power. So both of those guys with obvious weaknesses, looking to shore those up in the dev lab. So let's see how those go. Waiver claims, budget, ARB for FA. We went over kind of all of that. I did bump the ticket price up. I always bump it up a little bit each year, but you can see our attendance chart. We had the second highest attendance in the major leagues. So there's a lot of interest. I mean, we could maybe even bump this up even higher, try to bring in more cash. In fact, how much would a 28 dollar be? It's a 6% increase. We went to the World Series last year. I think, we'll do 27.50. I think that's fine, and we desperately need a cash influx here. So we're going to do that, and I'll have to make decisions on Ferris and Coffee and some of those other guys. But other than that, we will be bringing back largely the same roster no matter what next season. Another year older for most of these guys, which for most guys that might be a bad thing, but we've got some young potential players like Danny Aguilar, like DeJesus, like Zimmerman, Justin Grant, who look to be solid contributors as well. So Patrick Bailey will be back as backup catcher. I did extend him during the regular season for $5 million. It's a little pricey, but given what he has brought at the backup catcher slot, so we need someone who could hit lefties well, and he has delivered on that front, while also providing elite level defense. That's all you can ask for from your backup catcher. So, I'll let you know when I figure out what I want to do with both Coffee and Ferris and some of these other guys. Trying to balance the budget, trying to make this, make sense. I mean, I'm trying to play this as realistically as possible. If we basically broke even last year. I think a reasonable owner would be fine with that in exchange for a World Series, but the ticket prices are going up and they're probably would want to save money in the next year. So trying to reflect that, we might even bring some of these budgets down. I've tried to max out player development and scouting every year. We may have to bump those down a little bit. We'll have to see how all the budgets balance out after, all these arbitrations go through, after Jones's extension kicks in. Yeah, we'll try to set those to numbers that make sense. So I will do some tinkering here, and I'll let you know what I come up with in terms of a roster and finances here. The off season struggle, but yeah, we will. I'll be back once I get those answers figured out. See if we get any interest in coffee and potential trades. I don't even know what I'd trade him for. Probably just good looking prospects, or if I could flip him for like a 24 or 25-year-old player who looks solid, I might do that as well. So, yeah, let's see what we got here. So, a bit of a sad day. We did find a willing trade partner for us. As you can see, the Braves are in need of a third baseman and have some prospects to offer. So, Cutter Coffee will be going to them, along with Nick Swanson, who was a fourth-round pick in 2030. And, he hasn't done much. I mean, he's put up decent numbers, but, he's 24 years old. Yeah, I don't have, I'm okay with letting him go in exchange for Brent Warren, who is 23, just a little bit younger, but better looking potential overall. And then Ivan Alvarado, 22, another solid looking pitching prospect. So, yeah, it's he's one of the last few original players. I think we're down to just Jose Bello, Jackson Ferris. That may be it in terms of original expansion. And Santana was also an expansion pick. So, yeah, sad to see him go, but I think it has to happen. Yeah. All right, as for our other arbitration eligible guys, Jackson Ferris, I don't know if it'll be worth it or not, but he's getting one more year at $6.2 million, slightly less than his arbitration asking price. Redeman and Griffin are both coming back as well. Yeah, I think we can look to save money elsewhere. I just think Coffee didn't have necessarily a spot in this lineup based on how he played last year and the amount of money he was going to cost. So, I it's a hard move to make, but that's part of being a GM. You gotta make the hard decisions. Yeah, so I think we're basically ready to continue on. Yeah, probably advance to awards. Make some minor notes if things pop up here and there. But other than that, I'll probably just advance to awards here. All right, quick update here as we've got all the awards simmed. I forgot to mention before, I also did add a Dominican League team for our organization because previously we didn't have one, and our international complex is constantly on the edge of getting full. Yeah, it seems like I think every other team has one, so I created one for both myself and the Nashville Stars, who didn't have one. Um, yeah, and I called them the A's Nueva because I didn't feel like renaming the Vegas Blue Raiders team is still called the Athletics, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll just leave it be for now. It's kind of funny that way. So they're the A's Nueva. Everything else is the same, but yeah, in case you're curious, that way, we've got guys like Danny Sanchez who are still raw and like maybe not quite ready for Arizona ball, but should be able to play in Dominican ball with no issues there. So, um, yeah, just another. It makes it that transition easier for our international free agents since we previously didn't have that before, and I don't think a lot of our international free agents have really panned out from what I can remember. I mean, at least so far. Even DeJesus is American. Just looking to see, like, no, I don't, no one on the Major League roster is one of my international free agents as far as I can tell. So, um, even our top rated prospects like Eddie Aguilar was acquired via trade. Colson was drafted, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Dupuis was drafted. Um, I can't see the the rest of my minor league teams because my cat is sitting in front of the screen. Anyway, let's get to awards. Actually, let's check the development complex because I'm interested to see. So we have, let's see here, as my cat needs to lay down so I can see the full list of players here. Okay, so we've got 2 excelling, 1, 2, 3, 4 on track, and 4 frustrated. So 6 out of 10 either on track or excelling so far, which is not bad considering a lot of these are on pretty hard programs. Yeah, Strapidopoulos excelling at improved control. I definitely love to see that, and because I want him to be a part of the rotation for years to come. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, awards. Let's see. So, as we'll go to Great Glove Awards. Notably, Austin Wells and PCA both win gold gloves for us here. Ryan Gibson for the Tigers wins it. 11.3 ZR. How much ZR did Santana have this year? I'm curious. I know he had a good season. 11.6. So I think not quite as high as some of his past seasons. Yeah, but still pretty good. He also apparently had time at first and second base at some point during the. I don't know how that worked out. Probably some weird shenanigans with swapping guys into the lineup. I don't know, but yeah, he's remained an elite defender throughout all of his years in the league. So yeah, happy to see that. And we've got, let's see, NL, any notable ones? Charlie Condon is a first baseman now with the Rockies. Drew Romo, perennial Gold Glove winner, like OOTP legend. I think I always point him out when I see him. Starlin Caba wins for the Cardinals. Anthony Gutierrez with the Marlins. He was a Rule 5 pick back in 2025. Interesting. Let's see, some trades. Reliever of the year. Grant Holman wins for the Royals. He led the league in saves and posted a sub 2 ERA. I could see why he won that. That's, pretty solid season. Jackson Ferris got a few votes. Cody Funderburk, man, yeah, talk about an outlier season. Like, this is not a guy you would expect to put up 82 games worth of sub 2 ERA ball, but yeah, Funderburk got it done for them. And then Si Chen Wan for the Yankees, also quite good. I think we face him in the playoffs? I think we did. I know, if not, I know we have at some point. And then Schiappini, very young, good-looking closer for the Braves. If they got his stamina up, he would be an absolutely dominant starter, I think. But yeah, right now he is just a bullpen guy. But still an elite bullpen guy. Put up almost 3 WAR out of the bullpen. Yeah, very solid. And Rosado for the Dodgers also got a bunch of votes. I'm not surprised there either, because he was quite tough when we faced him in the World Series. Let's see, Platinum Stick. Just one winner for us, P. Crow Armstrong. That's not surprising. Yeah, not a lot of surprising names in here. Lucas Franco is not a name I super recognize. He was drafted in 2025, so if you're familiar with him, he has become an elite third baseman for the Twins. Coronado, yeah, free agent to a minor league contract. So I don't know if he was an international free agent for Toronto or what, but he appears to be a real life player and put up 7.6 WAR this year. Just a great season. Basayo, very good season for the Orioles. Yeah, and in case you were curious, I think we looked at this before, but there was much debate in the last offseason between grabbing Drake Baldwin or Austin Wells. Baldwin did outperform him this season, I think. 5.6 WAR versus Wells had, I think, 4.6 WAR. Let's see, compare player. Yeah, and batting stats. Yeah, you can see pretty much the entire right side favors Baldwin here. And pitching stats, I mean, we don't get to see their defensive stats here, unfortunately. I think Wells maybe has the edge on defense. Let's see, fielding stats. He saved 9.6 framing runs. That's pretty good. ZR negative 1.3, range 9.14. How about Baldwin? Baldwin. Yeah, 7.3 framing runs, 8.69 range, 0.4 ZR. So pretty comparable defensively. Wells maybe a touch better, but Baldwin with the overall better season. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to kind of compare and contrast those two, as Baldwin, our former star catcher. You know, you could make the argument maybe we should have kept him around, but yeah, I think given how things played out, this is probably the best decision here. Any interesting names in the Platinum Stick for the NL? Amari Ramirez, super young, super good. They played him at right fielder. Khalil Watson playing DH for the Cardinals. Yeah. Let's see. Rookie of the Year, Juan Funes for the White Sox. Yeah, I mean, he played, I think, in their playoffs last year. Yeah, and he put together a 5.4 WAR season this year. He looks quite good. John Muir for the Diamondbacks. Yeah, also looks quite good. Cesar Martinez. I mean, you could argue he's the best of the bunch here with that catcher. 4.2 catcher WAR is incredible, and yeah, he looks quite good. And then Mario Jimenez Yeah, 4 WAR as a 23-year-old pitcher for the D-backs. My God. All right. Mike Sanchez, unanimous winner for the Padres over Jake DeLizio of the Cubs, and Phil Fleckenstein. Miguel Martinez also looks incredible. Yeah, let's see. AL manager, Chicago. So the White Sox actually do grab manager of the year. I think they had a good turnaround from last season. Maybe that does play into it somewhat. And then the Dodgers win. Brian Blasek is the Dodgers manager. Interesting. Okay. And top pitcher award. Aaron Watson wins. Yeah, he had 6.1 pitching WAR. Led in strikeouts, led in game start, innings pitched, like 2.69 ERA. Yeah, you can't really argue against that. Gavin Jones, a strong, strong second place, led in WAR and tied in game started. Yeah, he earned. I don't think I showed, but he did accept our extension, so he's with us through his age 32 season, which hopefully should be a good move there. Jimenez finished third as a rookie in Cy Young voting, and Brody McCullough with a great season. You wouldn't expect that from a guy with these ratings, but he has been consistently good. Christian Zazueta, that was the number one expansion draft pick, former number one expansion draft pick, is now an ace for the Nashville Stars. Yeah, kind of what could have been for Jackson Ferris, who was our number one pick. Crochet for the Dodgers got some votes. Rosado as a closer got one vote. Interesting. And then, yeah, Spidell with not a unanimous winner. PCA did get one vote. Maybe the Oakland news, Oakland writer prevented that from happening. But yeah, Spidell definitely deserved it with an OPS over 1,000. PCA with an incredible season, though, and we'll have to look at trying to extend him too. It's going to be tough. Jeremy Greenaway is the unanimous winner for Pittsburgh. Got hurt at the end of the season, but finished the season with 9.5 WAR. Yeah, he looks quite good. James Wood second. He's been having a great career over in Washington. Michael Harris, same for Atlanta. Juan Martinez, age 22, finishes fourth in MVP voting. Yeah, there's a lot of good young guys in the league here. So let's see. We're getting close to free agency, and I don't think there's too many questions here. Alcantara will go to free agency. A bunch of guys that were on major league contracts, some waiver claim guys. I'll need to see if I want to throw some of these guys on the roster, maybe to try and keep them another year. Bernelli Franco is a guy that might fit that bill. He put up a good season in Double-A and looks to be pretty solid overall. Brent Warren, we just acquired in a trade. He'll probably accept a minor league extension. I just hadn't offered one to him yet. And Griffin Tobias pitched well, just over 3 ERA, not amazing numbers, but he was our long reliever and could maybe come back and pitch some solid innings for us too. So yeah, probably do the old throw these guys on the roster and then waive them immediately after free agency starts. So they'll be signed to a big league deal for the minimum, and then we'll go from there. But let's see. Michael Harris is a free agent, as is Roki Sasaki. I think we looked at these briefly, but we'll need to see if any of these guys actually make it to free agency. It's probably not going to be a free agency in which we are very active, minus potentially trying to sign an extension for PCA starting in his next season, the 2034 season. I don't think it'll be cheap coming off a 7 WAR, almost 8 WAR season, but we'll have to see kind of what the finances look like. And yeah, I'd like him to stick around long term. But we're already projected for $193 million in salary next year. Well, this is next season. Season after is 178. So we'll see. And that's Volpe has an opt out after next season. Wells and Jones are locked in. Anthony Santana's locked in. Some guys, Bello and Sieber, arbitration eligible, along with Griffin and Redeman. Yeah, so we'll have to see how the roster situation shakes out. Maybe I can get away with like a super long-term deal for PCA for lower salary, but we'll have to see what he's looking to get. So probably we'll just sim to the start of free agency here, barring anything else interesting happening. So stay tuned for that. First order of business here as we get into free agency is extending PCA to a very, very large contract here. This is a 10-year, $321 million contract. Yeah, maybe too much money, but he's got an opt-out after age 36. I think, we pay him a lot in the first 3 years of the deal, then ideally get a bargain if he ages well into his 40s. The last 2 years are kind of tacked on as team options, likely will not be fulfilled if I had to guess. It's going to be interesting to look back and see if he lives up to this contract, but yeah, I want him here long term, and I think we're going to do it. So he will be making a lot of money, and what that means for next season is yeah, we'll be going up in salary yet again. Some of these guys, well, it's estimating 11.2 million for Nick Kurtz in arbitration, which I can tell you right now he's not going to get. Some of these other guys, Cooper Kinney, Sieber, Bello, Griffin, Martinez is potentially like he had a good season last year. Hopefully he can repeat that again this year, but he'll be arbitration eligible. So some of these numbers will go down, but yeah, we're gonna have a payroll for sure around or north of $200 million next year. So yeah, we'll see if he accepts that deal. I haven't looked to see who the big name free agents are. For comparison though, Michael Harris II, who just hit free agency, wants $45.6 million a year, and we just signed PCA at age 31. So he's older than PCA and wants a bigger contract in free agency, and we don't really have anyone that can play at that caliber. PCA can. Tariq Skubal, he looks solid. 24.3. That's like similar-ish to what we offered Gavin Jones. Jones in the first year of his 5-year deal. Yeah, not. I think this is a decent extension. So, as he goes up to a 3.5-star potential player. Wow. Okay, he actually got a nice boost here in September. I didn't even notice that. Stuff went from 50 to 55. Velocity went up. Potential velocity went up. Yeah, so he has the potential to be even better next year. He's got 3 pitches now over a 70. Yeah, very, very nice boost there that I didn't even notice until just now. Yeah, that's we love to see that, especially after signing him to a huge extension too. Um, oh, that might have been OSA ratings. Let's see. Okay, that was OSA ratings. But my scout does see him, I think, at a similar. Although movement dropped from a 55 to 50, that's not great. Um, but anyway, yeah, I don't think we're going to be super active in free agency. I mean, that the extension on PCA means that we don't really have money to sign players. I mean, you can see we have, according to our budget, about $21 million available total. And that's even, I think, a bit optimistic since we're projected to lose money this year. We currently have 13.5 million in cash, and yeah, that's taken into account. So, yeah, current budget 296. I mean, it does project that out. So, I'm still not sure why these numbers are not the same. Maybe it's. I don't think this is taking the new ticket price into account, maybe, which should bring in more revenue. I mean, 4% more would still be, what is that? 1.223 times 0.048. That's like, oh, 500,000 more. Yeah, about 587,000 more per game. So that is significant. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep going. Oh, and I guess I should mention these are the guys that I decided to keep that were um, eligible for free agency, immediately getting waived. We'll see if anyone claims them. If not, they will hang out in the minor leagues with a deal. Sean Gamble was one that, I like him as depth. Just he's good depth. He's never going to be an amazing player, but he can literally play every position at least decently well. He's got captain. He's the type of guy that you just want to stick around. Hopefully, he's cool with sticking around in the minors for a while because I want him there. Yeah. Oh, and I should probably figure out where some of my guys from the Atlanta trade should go. Alvarado being an A plus is totally fine. Yeah, the guys I got in the Cutter Coffee trade, and Warren in a double A also fine. Yeah. So, free agency is not going to be super exciting, I think, this year. Rule 5, I will have to look at because we've got quite a few guys that are Rule 5 eligible that will want to save slots for. Guys like Glenn Colson, who, despite having the long injury, is pretty promising looking at age 22. You know, guys like Brent Warren, who we just looked at, just traded for. Would kind of suck to lose him in the Rule 5 draft immediately after trading for him. Jose Contreras, he's a 2.5-star potential player, but if he can get that control up, he can be a really good player. Yeah, a lot of interesting names. Nick Kurtz will not be protected. We hope that he will be taken. Scott Sharpton's still hanging around. Yeah, we'll have to see. Eddie Rainville is a guy that we'll want to protect. Jorge Vela, most likely. Yeah, so we may do more protecting than drafting in the Rule 5 this year. But I think we should be able to leave a few slots open to try and grab some guys who are out there. Marco Cabajal, I forgot about him. He was a waiver claim that looks pretty decent overall still at age 22, even if he didn't have a great season in AAA last year. Maybe some unlucky BABIP there, but we'll see. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and sim through free agency. I'm gonna still make my short list and um, definitely throw some guys on the roster to protect them on 40 man, protect them from the Rule 5 draft. We'll have to do another round of international free agency. Let's check in on our dev lab guys as well, as Zimmerman is 1 to 2 weeks away. He's frustrated, but at about the halfway mark, so he's still got a chance to turn it around. And we still have 5-6 guys either on track or excelling. So, not bad. Not bad overall dev lab results. Yeah, and I think a lot of these guys in the past have kind of like ramped things up as the dev lab has gone on. So the fact that so many are succeeding already is good. Hopefully these on tracks become excelling maybe for some of these guys. I mean, I want to see the midterm progress and see how close they are potentially to that. But yeah, I'll let you know if there's any interesting free agent happenings. We'll probably need to grab maybe 1 or 2 bullpen arms in free agency, given that we look a little thin there at the moment. I mean, we can grab, we've got some guys in AAA who could probably pitch in our bullpen, but probably wouldn't hurt to, try to grab more. We found Kirkering last year in free agency, and he was a solid signing. So someone along those lines who won't command too much money. Sieber currently listed as a starter. He may or may not start for us. We did lose Sandy Alcantara, so that 5th spot is kind of up for grabs. Really, I'd say the only spots that are for sure taken on this team are 1 through 3 with Jones, Bello, and Strapidopoulos. I think Sieber and Ferris have a good shot at 4 and 5. We could look to bring in a low-end starter as well to compete with them. We've also still got Karsten Swim, Eddie Aguilar, John Clevenger, who could make the next step, next kind of leap up to being a big league starter. So we'll have to see. That'll be kind of a question mark going into the season. Is how exactly our rotation is going to fill out there. So we've got a lot of potentially good guys, but we'll need to see kind of who makes the most sense. So yeah, let's see who's out there in free agency, and I'll definitely let you know if I find someone interesting. All right, still going through the list of free agents here, but look who I found in free agency. Cutter Coffee, apparently the Braves were cool to trade for him, but did not want to offer him arbitration. So he is a free agent, and we will be looking to bring him back in some capacity. He wants a major league deal. It's only $1.7 million, I think. Let's bump that down to 1.3. Yeah, okay. So he probably won't make the roster, but he will be around. Yeah, I would like to see him back. So he will maybe start the year in AAA, but yeah, Perdomo also out there as a potential free agent after we traded him away. And Ronald Acuna Jr. Wow. Yeah, so still looking through our list of free agents here. Again, no one that's really caught my eye in terms of like a huge name. Lots of guys that we offered minor league deals. Victor Scott coming off a serious injury, but still put up 2.1 WAR, largely off the back of his fielding. Old friend of the team, Michael Ciani, who was part of the PCA trade, looking to maybe bring him back as a backup slash minor league depth guy. Yeah, and lots of guys that are kind of quad A type players who would be good minor league depth. So, Yeah, we'll keep going here in free agency. We're about halfway through December, and yeah, a few notes here. First, I guess these guys got claimed by, well, Francisco de la Cruz got claimed by a lot of people, but they did not pass through waivers. The other guys did successfully. PCA did sign his extension, 10 years. He will be an Oakland A likely for the rest of his career. You know, you hate to see it as a Cubs fan, but yeah, he's likely worth the money there. And also Gerald Zimmerman, no improvement on his dev lab program. It was the one short one that I had going here. So we'll go ahead and I think we're going to do Alex Rivera, who's looked good in his time in the minors so far, or at least pretty promising. So we're going to, let's see, take him here and improve his control. As yeah, we're down to still have 5 guys on track. Eddie Aguilar is struggling, unfortunately, and 3 others are frustrated. So we'll see if they can get back on track here to improvements. Also, international free agents still coming along here. No big developments. League interest is slowly going up over time. I think if I had to make a choice right now, Cuevas would be the one that I'd go after, just because he does have that higher current contact, which is usually a good indicator of success. But I do also like Rodriguez. Padron, I'm not as high on. Deathridge I like because of his good defense. And then, yeah. I mean, all of these guys I like to some extent, but we'll have to see. Trevor Sari for 500K, I think he's a steal. Get that avoid Ks up, and he would be potentially a very elite hitter. So we'll see. But yeah, no other big free agency happenings, I believe. Still waiting on some minor league guys. Some guys wanted more money, and I'm probably not going to offer it to them. I did offer also a contract to Tanner Scott. He just wants 3.5 mil to play for us this season. He's 38 years old, but still doing quite well. I mean, he had a sub-1 ERA across 30 innings in Atlanta. I don't expect him to replicate that, but he should still be a very solid, serviceable reliever. And he's a lefty, which is always a bonus. Yeah. Gonna keep going through free agency here. Probably won't see too much here until the Rule 5 draft, I'm guessing. Unless I decide to make some trades during the winter meetings. I don't have any that I'm currently looking to do. I think if we look at our team, Cooper Kinney is 21st, but even then, I was pretty pleased with his season overall. And every other position looks good or great for us. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not looking to make a lot of moves here, honestly. So we'll see how this goes. If there's anything interesting, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll probably see you at the Rule 5 draft. So I thought I was not going to be doing any trades here in the off season, but I went hunting around a little bit and I found a deal that I think makes a lot of sense for both teams here. We're giving up Jose Pena and Connor Griffin. Both Jose Pena is a guy who is Rule 5 eligible, so would have had to throw him on my roster to keep him. Connor Griffin, we just signed a $2 million contract in arbitration. He's kind of been, borderline playable throughout his career here. did have a good season in 2031, but 2032 didn't do a ton in limited time. And in exchange, we're getting our old closer back, now a starter for Houston, Gerangelo Senja. And what has he gone on to do? Well, he just had the best season of his career with 5 pitching WAR. Yeah, he's turned into an ace. Safe to say that when we traded him for Gian Zapata, along with Montero, who also had a good season, yeah, we lost that trade very, very hard. Zapata has gone on to not really do much of anything, and yeah, so this will give us a chance to kind of rectify that mistake. He is getting paid $9 million this year. They're eating some of his salary, so we'll lose another $5 million in salary. He's due another $11 million in arbitration next year, so again, the money, or $13 million actually. So the money's going to be tough, but I think this makes sense. Houston was not competitive last year. They get back to fairly young players, young-ish, 24 and 26, and they don't have to pay Sinja, who's 29, and yeah, they aren't looking to be competitive soon, probably. And for us, it makes sense because that will solidify our rotation. That gives us a replacement for Alcantara, lets us move either Sieber or Ferris back to the bullpen where they excelled in the stopper role. Possibly both, depending on if another starter comes along here, Aguilar, Swim, Clevenger, one of those guys, and impresses in spring training. So I think it makes sense, and we are going to welcome him back into the rotation this time. And fans are not happy that we let Connor Griffin go, but they are happy that we reacquired our old friend here. So he will go and slot into the rotation here, right above Strapadopoulos, actually above Bello. He will be second in our rotation currently. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to make any other dramatic moves here. I'm going to sim to the day before the Rule 5 draft, I think, and kind of in real time decide which guys I want to throw on the 40-man and which I don't. A few interesting decisions to be made here, and we have 9 slots with which to play with, plus we have 2 offers out. I did have to up my offer on Cutter Coffee. Tanner Scott is favoring the offer too. Cutter Coffee I might try to waive and stash in the minors. We'll see. Hopefully both those guys won't sign until after the Rule 5 draft, but we'll see. So let me get to the day before here. So it is day before Rule 5 draft, and we've got 5 players, I think, that we're going to protect here. Glenn Colson, Eddie Rainville, Jorge Vela, Brent Warren, and Kevin Davison. Adding all of these guys to the 40-man. Yeah, and that puts us at 36 out of 40. I think we do have exactly 20 pitchers on the 40-man now, so probably we'll be prioritizing batters in the Rule 5 draft. There's a few guys on here that I'm a little concerned about losing, but overall I think this should be okay. Guys like Sharpton is a possibility, Gamble, Carbajal has low movement. I wouldn't be. Travis Foster is 26. We got him on waivers. Anyone I got on waivers, I'm kind of thinking is okay to leave off the 40-man, which is why Logan Redmond is not on there. He looks like he could be a good reliever, but I'm going to try to sneak him on to the 40-man at some point. Glenn Coulson has a long injury. I know I can throw him on the 60-day IL once preseason starts, I believe. But yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and turn this green. And I don't think there's anyone else I want to throw on here. Let's go ahead and get into the Rule 5 draft. And I'll go ahead and do a safety save just in case, something awful happens. Figueroa, lots of trade proposals that I'm not particularly interested in. This one's at least decent. Although who else do they want me to give up? Israel Valen, who looks decent. Anyway, Rule 5 draft. Do I want to do this live on camera? Let's see. Okay, Randy Brugger is immediately interesting. He's 25, and has not really thrown above rookie and A ball, but has potential, but he's 25. Tim Risers, on the other hand, is 22. Same with Larry Apple, he's 24. I just said I was not looking at pictures, but I can't help it. All right. Leo Hernandez looks decent. Angel Guzman, also interesting. Dylan Adkins, I think I looked at him as a potential trade target maybe at some point. Let's look at prospects. Davalillo. He was on my Rule 5 list last year, which is why he's shortlisted. Andrew French actually did get Rule 5 drafted by us, and then not after that. Juan Cabada, I think we did not Rule 5 draft him. Okay. So let's look at batting potential batters, and who's got this view for some reason. Yeah, we'll do this view. RJ Cope is already in our minor league system. I didn't even realize he was a two-way player either. His pitching ratings aren't that great, but still there. Let's see. Contact. Lorenzo Laurel. Looks like he could be decent. Elian De La Cruz. I think I looked at him last year. The name sounds familiar. We might have even drafted him last year. We drafted him in 2030. Okay, so I thought that name sounded familiar. contact potential. Aidan Bonilla, Willie Lopez, Mario Aguia. Mike Fugate. Honestly, Mike Fugate might be worth just throwing on there just in case. He's on our roster, and he's one that, given what I'm seeing so far, I think it's worth using a roster slot just to keep him on for sure. There's not a lot of guys that I'm super interested in so far. David Osuna. Okay, let's clear filter. Get current batting ratings, power. Alexander de la Cruz. Looks like a perfectly serviceable outfielder. Yeah, put up good numbers in AAA and AA last year. Darwin Ozuna also put up good numbers in the minors last year. Let's look at infielders. I feel like we're just seeing outfield guys. Donovan Jeffrey. DeBroke is interesting. I like that he can play both infield and outfield, potentially. Yeah, we've got Sean Gamble out there. Angel Guzman did not have a good season in AAA last year. And is 26. Spencer Browning still in our org after getting Rule 5 drafted in 2030. Spent all of last year in the minors and did okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the pitchers because the batters are not wowing me here. Tim Rogers was interesting. He's only got 30 control though. But at 22, I'm interested. Let's see here. Nick England just turned 26 and has a torn rotator cuff. Let's see. Jeremy Fernandez, high movement, torn flexor tendon. Joey Broughton. Was in our org at one point and then We released him. Oh, he was just a guy that I didn't want to give a major league salary to. Okay. Jake Neely's still in our org. John Stewart. He's interesting. 22. Only has 40 stuff, but high movement potential. He's 22. I mean, and has good personality. We'll consider him. Craig Holman, former draft pick of ours. Kind of the same archetype here. But a little worse than Stewart, I think. Perez only has 2 pitches. Mario Ponce. He could potentially play. Ignacio Ponte. He looks interesting. Age 25. He looks very interesting, actually. 80 out of 80 fastball. He could be a solid bullpen arm, I think. Danny Marino, same. He just turned 26. So he likely won't reach that 75 potential, but already looks good. Man, yeah, the pitchers in here are much more intriguing than the batters, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, but I think I've seen enough. So going to my short list here, let's look at all. And yeah, I think I'm going to target Danny Marino. Marino and Ponte both look quite good. I know I said I was targeting batters. DeBroke looks interesting. Either De La Cruz or Laurel or Ozuna would be draftable, I think. I'll probably take one of those guys. Don't really need all of them. I have 3 slots with which to play with, so probably 2 pitchers and a batter, given what I've seen. So let's get into it and start the draft. We pick last. And let's see if we lose anyone. We do not. Okay, great. So let's see here. Rinson, Martinez, Victor Castillo, Chase Madrath. Ponce is taken. Okay, he was one that we looked at. Jose Pena, who we just traded to the Astros. They did not protect him, and so he, yeah, that's the danger in the trading for those guys. So now they're solely relying on Connor Griffin to make up the difference in that trade. But our top 2 targets, I think, are still in here, which are Ponte and there's a lot of guys in here. Okay. Ponte and Marino. And I'm going to take Marino, I think, out of those 2. he just looks really, really solid. Like he could be a bullpen arm immediately. He is 26, but he just turned 26. So he could even maybe still develop further. Yeah, let me just make sure I'm not going crazy in terms of. Yeah, Marino has higher stuff potential. Ponte slightly higher home run potential, but just better overall, I think. Marino's the pick. And we'll see. Oh, we do lose Robbie Snelling. Wow. Okay. So someone willing to take on Robbie Snelling. Okay. I mean, he was okay for us last year, but I didn't think that anyone would take him. Wow. Okay. I'm fully expecting him to come back to us before the end of the season. Let's see. Oh, so Ozuna is one that we looked at, as was Alessandro De La Cruz. Okay, so two of those batters. I mean, I think I wanted to pick one of them maybe. I know DeBroke was also in consideration, as was Rangel was. No, Rangel was cut. Man, okay. Laurel was. And Laurel looks interesting still. Okay, in terms of depth, where do we need more depth? I feel like it's in the infield. Yeah, it's about even. Oh, man. Okay, let's just take another picture. If, yeah, Danny Lopez. Oh, no, Danny Lopez is on our team. Who was I thinking of? Ponte. That's it. Ponte. Yeah. Or John Stewart. Who is younger. I mean, he could be kind of the wild card here, I guess. Ponte definitely better right now. Stewart has that really good potential movement, though, which is very intriguing. And a lot of different pitches. And high work ethic. All right, we already drafted a closer type. We're going to go for John Stewart here. And then let's see. No one else taken. Valentino, Derek Kincaid. All right, and now we will take a batter with the last pick here, and it'll be either Laurel or DeBroke. Let's kind of compare these guys here. Let's see, Laurel, they're both 25. Laurel has the better power potential. Probably a slightly better bat overall, too. DeBroke does have the ability to play multiple positions, though. So, do I want more of a utility guy or more of a bat off the bench? I think we have a lot of good bat first guys already. So I'm going to go with DeBroke. If we have a catastrophic injury somewhere, we have a little bit of depth that way. Okay, and that will be it for the Rule 5 draft. So, as Harold Rivas does get taken as well. He looks like a very good fielder. Okay, so yeah, Rule 5 is done. Um, yeah, probably not too much interesting left to do in the off season. In free agency, let's see, preseason begins, international free agent signing begins. So it'll probably start actually on the 29th again. We'll need to see. We've got Hall of Fame voting results on the 12th. At some point, we'll get the halfway on our Dev Lab guys. I'll probably show that. We are now up to 5 either on track or excelling. One of which is to Jesus. I think he's literally successfully completed every Dev Lab program he's participated in, which is crazy. 2 in 2029, 1 in 2030, 1 in 2030, 1 in 2031. Outstandingly completed 2 last year. Yeah, so he just gets permanent Dev Lab privileges, I think, no matter what. He's yeah. I don't know what it is. If it's the work ethic, if it's the combination of coaches or something like the. I know that all plays into it. But yeah, he's progressing very nicely. Okay. So yeah, I'll probably look to sign some more guys to minor league deals. Probably nothing too major in terms of major league contracts, besides the ones that we've already got out there. Yeah, I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. Otherwise, we'll sim to DevLab update or Hall of Fame voting results. Forgot to show who was in the Hall of Fame voting this year. Kershaw, I know, was up. Should make it in, I imagine. But yeah, we'll see. Quick update here, January 3rd. We've reached the halfway point with our dev lab, and pretty happy with what I'm seeing here, honestly. 5 of the 10 are either on track or excelling, and the ones that are frustrated are all not particularly far away from being on track, especially Feldman, who's like right on the borderline here. So pretty good chance that a few of these turn around, I think. Hopefully these two stay in excelling. We'll see. Castaneda even has a chance to go to excelling as well. Did sign Tanner Scott. I waived Fugate to make room for him. He passed through waivers successfully. Cutter Coffee did not. So I'll need to figure out if I want to just put him on the roster and waive somebody else, or how I want to do that exactly. I think Mantiply is probably okay to waive. Yeah, let's go ahead and waive Mantiply and throw Coffee on the roster here. And we'll keep simming here. Okay, so Mantiply did pass through waivers successfully, but refused to be demoted. So we're gonna do a trade deal here that makes sense. Padres giving up Jim Boyer, who's a pretty decent looking prospect, honestly. Only 19, 6th round pick in 2031. We retain 60% of his salary, so better than straight up cutting him. Yeah, I'm not honestly too mad about that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And now our roster is good. So, Jim Boyer he won't be an A+. He can play an A, though. And yeah, we will keep going. Hall of Fame voting results are in. As expected, Clayton Kershaw inducted with 98% of the vote in his first year of eligibility. Not surprising there. Other first year guys, no one else stayed on the ballot. Ryan Braun getting close to being inducted here. But yeah, JT Realmuto, Marcus Simeon, Springer, Snell, Quintana, Severino, Rogers, Ray, Liam Hendricks, Starling Marte, all dropped off the ballot in their first year. Adam Wainwright getting close, Craig Kimbrell getting fairly close. A lot of interesting names in here. John Lester hanging around. Felix Hernandez still with only 8.1% of the vote. That feels low for a guy that, won a Cy Young, and I don't know. His vote's actually going down over time too. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, update here, February 4th. We are officially into international free agency. I did go after Cuevas at the start, put in an offer for $4 million on him. Unfortunately, the Reds counter offered, and he's now out of my price range. So, yeah, we're going to go for Victor Rodriguez next. The Cubs offering him $3.1 million. We're going to up that to $4 million and hope he just straight up signs with me. And we do also have a pending offer to Alfredo Vargas for $200K. That's a bargain for him, I think. Yeah, so we'll have to see. I don't want to put any more offers out there until I see how that goes. As Cuevas does sign with Cincinnati for $5.7 million, the max. That's not surprising. Rodriguez may sign for the max, but let's see if we can sneakily get him for $4 million instead, and then sign a few other guys as well. Looks like probably not, as Seattle does counter offer, and $4.5 million. Okay, well, I can do $4.5 million, but I don't want to keep going back and forth. 470 doesn't give me much room to sign anyone else. Let's see. There's also Ricky Padron. He's out offered. Death Ridge wants $3.6 million. Ramirez has not had an offer yet. All right, let's go for Rodriguez. And he ups it to 4.8. That's fine. We'll see if he'll take that. As Vargas does officially sign his contract. Rivera's frustrated. Rivera, by the way, got a huge TCR boost here. Everything went up. We love to see these. And that's not even. I'm pretty sure I have him. Have him in for control. So if it does manage to turn around and be successful, he will be in very good shape. He struggled a little bit at A plus ball, but his ratings suggest that he should dominate there. I'm honestly considering just bumping him up to double A, but probably will have him start the season at A plus. He's only 19 years old. This was a random scouting discovery that all of a sudden looks like one of the best prospects in our organization. So, yeah, very excited about that. Phil Feldman also got a nice little contact boost there as well. Just need his power to go up, and we'll be in good shape. Okay, but for international amateurs, let's see here as we keep going. Yeah, Danny Legarreta, wow, cool. Rodriguez still likes the contract. And Bustamante, cool. Well, yeah, he looks like a pitcher. All right. And Chicago counter offers. Okay, so we do not get him, and now we're probably out on some of these other guys as well. Padron signed for the max. Deathridge was a guy that I wanted to offer on potentially. Yeah, all right. So now we pivot here and look to, I think, sign multiple guys. So Ramirez, 1.7 million. We will offer you 2.7 million. Willie Ramirez. Justo Collado wants 1.7 million. Has not gotten an offer yet. We're gonna see if we can take him down to about 1.1 million. No, about 1.2 million. Okay. And then Traversari. Yeah, 410. I'll offer you 510. And that leaves me 540 with which to negotiate. Or I can just go for Bill Solorzano, which I think I'm just going to do that instead. 420. Blaze it. All right. Let's see who can sign with us now. Victor Rodriguez signs with Chicago, so we don't end up getting any of the top prospects here. Victor Rodriguez signs for the max. We wouldn't have been able to match that anyway. Willie Ramirez wants more money. He wants $3.1 million. Yeah, let me see if I can offer him that. If anyone else rejects my offer. Bill Solorzano rejects my offer. So Traversari and Collado both sign. Ramirez, your international complex is full. Thanks, Scout. I mean, he can just be released. He's not any good. Let's see. Anyone who's 18 and yeah. Basically anyone who's 18 can go to minor league team. Okay. And then anyone who's 17 and not high potential, which is just those two. Okay. Ramirez. So now I should be able to offer him $32.80. and we'll see if he takes that. Been trying to play the waiver wire, by the way, too, and got a few names in there, but no one too crazy. So Willie Ramirez wants even more money. Okay, so I think now we pivot to someone completely different. Let's see, we've got Carnini, who looks okay. Campos, who looks also okay. Rascon, don't mind him. Velasquez, I like him. All right, let's see, Velasquez. Ooh, not for 5.1 million though. Okay, Rascon. 2.9 I can do. 2.9 I can do. Bill Solorzano signs with Miami. Willie Ramirez signs with New York. That's fine, I didn't want you anyway. So we are almost into spring training here. So we can't get Rascon either. Okay, so we're gonna have to go bargain hunting here, I think. Yeah, not a great international free agency for us here. Pretty much all the guys we wanted to go after were taken by someone else. Erazo. All right, let's look and see. I like that his nickname was just Larry. Yeah, we're just solely going bargain hunting now. Okay. Yeah, so we'll have to see if any of these guys end up signing with us. I'll also have to do my spring training roster, so I will show that in just a bit. Okay, so we are into spring training here, still waiting on a few of these guys to sign or not sign with us for international free agency, but we also got our first round of dev lab updates back, and very happy with the results. Jose Castaneda got an outstanding result. This hasn't been reflected yet, but his control should go up. Successful result for velocity on swim. His fastball is up to now 92, 94 miles per hour. No improvement on Phil Feldman, Clevenger. Successful for Justin Grant. His power rating went up by 10. Very nice to see that. Uh, Diego Lopez, current control up by 5. Also very nice to see. No improvement, unfortunately, for Eddie Aguilar or TJ Strapadopoulos, but then Lorenzo De Jesus, this might be the single best dev update I've ever seen. His avoid K's potential went up by less than 5, and his current went up by 20. That brought him all the way up to a 4-star overall player, which is insane. And his power went up to boot, just from TCR. So, yeah, he projects to be an absolute monster now. And preseason predictions, let's see where we. Yeah, predicted to finish 94 and 68, top of the division again. PCA projected to be one of the league's top hitters. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Unfortunately for us, the one negative update is that Sinja's stamina dropped and his velocity dropped from a 40 to a 35, which is right on the edge of, like, you could maybe still start him with 35 stamina, but he's probably better out of the bullpen, and so he's back to that closer role to start the year. We'll have to see how he does. Yeah, this is kind of what happened the last time he was on R2. And then, yeah, basically have all of my AAA roster up and playing in spring training right now. So, yeah, for the current development life cycle, just a lot of still waiting on Alex Rivera's control to see if that is successful or not. He's currently struggling, but hopefully he can get that up soon. And then, yeah, lots of defense and base stealing and base running, short programs. De Jesus and Grant are the two that I'm most concerned about, considering they project to be regular players this year, but everyone else is just kind of gravy, And then my base stealers, PCA and Santana, are already really good at stealing bases, as is Wade Shelley, but it'd be fun to see them get even better. So, yeah, that's kind of my logic there. Yeah, so we'll go through spring training here. As always, I'll stop if there's any injuries, anything interesting. Otherwise, we'll probably just sim to the end of spring training. None of these international signings are probably going to be too thrilling. I'll probably just sign who I can for low amounts of money and go from there. So, yeah, we will see you soon. Some interesting happenings here in spring training. For one, both Sean Gamble and Nick Kurtz, I waived both of them, and Nick Kurtz actually got claimed, so we are not on the hook for his salary this year, which is nice for our front office, I suppose. He was not really going to factor into the team this year. Also, Sean Gamble was claimed. Players are disappointed to see him leave. I'm a bit disappointed to see him leave too. But yeah, Justin Grant got hurt, and it was just a 1 to 2 week injury, and then he suffered a setback. So he should still be fine by the start of the regular season, but is missing a good chunk of spring training here. So, yeah, we're about halfway through spring training, a little over halfway through. I don't think there's going to be any dramatic changes in our roster, barring, again, any other injuries, knock on wood. But, yeah, we're going to keep going here. Okay, so it is opening day, and yeah, let's go over the opening day roster here. So, again, going with the roster of 30 players until May 1st. Expanded COVID roster. I kept that because I like it. Yeah, anyway, 15 pitchers, 15 batters. Our Rotation to start the year will be Jones, Bello, Strapadopoulos. Karsten Swim makes the rotation after a promising spring training in which he, didn't give up very many runs. Ratings look good. Hopefully he can stick in the rotation this time. Jackson Ferris is our number 5 starter for now. We have Sinja and Sieber splitting time at stopper/closer. I think both of them should do well in that role. Hudson and Bourgeois are both setup men. They're kind of next men up, both very solid, good relievers. Kirkering kind of lost a little bit of a step, I think, and didn't have a great spring training, so he'll be middle relief, along with Arden, Tanner Scott, who will also be our lefty specialist, and Danny Marino, who is one of our Rule 5 picks. We'll see how he does. And then John Clevenger still doesn't quite have the ratings to be a starter. He'll be in long relief to start the year, along with John Stewart, our other Rule 5 pick. And then for starting lineups, catcher Wells is starting with Bailey backing up and starting against lefties. Kinney, Volpe, Beatty against righties. Santana, Anthony, PCA, Martinez, DeJesus. That's largely the same lineup that we went with last year. Grant backing up multiple positions. He should get a decent amount of playing time that way. Volpe's our backup shortstop. DeJesus splitting time in the outfield. Shelley our backup center fielder. And then Grant and Anthony also getting time at DH as well. And then against lefties, largely the same, except Grant subs in for Beatty to start against lefties at third base. And then Martinez shifts over to left field with Shelley slotting in for Anthony in the outfield. And we have Coffey and Zimmerman backing up various positions. Michael Ciani also makes the team off the back of a decent spring training, and he's additional outfield depth. Likely won't get much playing time, but I think I liked him better than a lot of the other guys that we had called up, like Jorge Villa. I want to start the year in AAA, or didn't have a great enough spring training to justify making the roster on opening day. Someone like Aguilar could see some playing time. Names to watch out for, definitely both Eddies. Eddie Aguilar, he is just a step away from the majors. Eddie Rainville, by ratings, is theoretically good enough. The control still concerns me. Movement's not super high either, but 75 stuff, so we'll see how that plays. And then Adam Rath, Diego Lopez, both decently close as well. Lots of guys kind of knocking on the door here of the major leagues. Logan Redeman didn't have an amazing spring training. He should be good depth. We're paying him major league money, so he might see the field sooner or later. Cam Leiter was good in 2021, missed all of 2032 pretty much with injury. We'll see if he can come back strong. Joe Soliday projects to be a pretty good reliever as well. Dylan Moss maybe could see backup catcher time depending on how Bailey does. Dupuis is here, kind of knocking on the door as well. And then, I don't know how many of the guys in AA have a serious chance. Maybe Brent Warren, who we traded for from Atlanta, and Alex Rivera, definitely a name to watch. He'll start the year in A+, but he could probably be in AAA or the majors by the end of the year, depending on how he does and how he continues to progress. So, that's our opening day lineup. Oh, and player development. Let's look at the Dev Lab results. Nothing too exciting in here. Two poor results. Justin Grant and Wade Shelley. Wade Shelley's injury proneness increased slightly thanks to his poor result. That's not ideal. We did have three successes, and it was maybe the three players that didn't need it the most. DeJesus had his first development complex failure for his defense, but PCA, Santana, both increasing base stealing. I mean, they were already both very good base stealers. And then Martinez outfield defense went up, and you can see that he's 60s across the board. He should be a good defender in both left and right field. So, yeah, that about does it here. Thanks for watching the series. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell all your friends about the exploits of the fictional Oakland A's. And yeah, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time.